Thrill Me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob. Hey yo, welcome into a brand new episode of the Review It Rob Show. Appreciate you coming in to hang out, man. We're gonna have some fun on this week's episode. As always, like to have a good time around here, man. So, the focus movie-wise, spoiler-free review is going to be Despicable Me 4. That's right, there are 4 Despicable Me movies. Even more when you count in the Minion movies. So, but we're gonna be talking about Despicable Me 4. Saw that over the weekend. Get my thoughts on that. As well, got some news, man. We got some DC news. Some things popping off over there in DC to talk about. DC's mandatory to every episode. Got some horror, spooky realm stuff to talk about, a little bit of news there, and then whatever else we can get into on this episode. So again, appreciate you joining in to have fun. If you're new to the show, welcome in, man. Like the show works, spoiler-free review, talk some news, and then we get at you out of here, all right? So without further ado, we're going to jump into this and talk about Despicable Me 4. Before we do that, I did see several movies over this week. We had 3 new movies that came out, Despicable Me 4 being one of them. Also saw Maxine, the new X Trilogy film. I did a review of that over on the Patreon exclusive show, Nightmare on Review It Street. You can check that out on the Thrill Me Podcast Network's Thrill Me Patreon, man. I finally did another Patreon. Holy crap. I'm going to try to do more of those, but that's over there. I do a whole talk about the X Trilogy over there. And then I did see Beverly Hills Cop 4, known as Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Still figuring out what I'm going to do with that. I have an idea about review-wise what I'll do with that one, so just be on the lookout for that. But no, without further ado, let's jump into Despicable Me 4. It is rated PG for action and rude humor. It is now playing in theaters with a runtime of 1 hour and 35 minutes. This is a kids and family comedy adventure animation film. In the first first Despicable Me movie in 7 years. Has it been 7 years, really? Wow. This one returns with an exciting, bold new era of Minion mayhem in a new chapter as Gru and Lucy and their girls, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, welcome a new member to the family with Gru Jr., who is intent on tormenting his dad, of course. Gru faces a new nemesis in Maxima, whatever, and his femme fatale girlfriend Valentina, and the family is forced to go on the run. Going into this movie, I've seen the other Despicable Me movies, but it's been a long time. I did not realize it's been 7 years in between films. But what I did before going to see this movie in theaters, I saw this as a double feature with Maxine. So I watched Maxine first, and then I watched this afterwards. So much fun to do a double feature in theaters, man. I had the chance to do that again this week, but we'll talk about that later. So before that, I watched all the other movies, man, including the Minions films. So you start with the Minions movies because timeline-wise, those are the first movies. You have the first Minions film where they're looking for a villain to be Minions too. And then the second movie is The Rise of Gru, which did very well. I think it made close to or over $1 billion. And then, of course, that led into the Despicable Me films. Of course, the first movie we all saw with this was Despicable Me 1, 2, 3, and now 4 has arrived. So I don't watch a whole lot of animation films. I don't know what it is. I don't purposely go to theaters to see them or anything like that. But I like this franchise. It's probably the Universal theme park love inside of me that makes me a little more excited to see these movies because the Minions do have a presence at Universal Studios theme parks, and especially Orlando, the one I'm going to. And always fun characters to be around. It's fun to see their stuff. They're goofy characters. The Minions are just fun and goofy all together. I don't think I saw the trailer all that much. Maybe I saw it once, actually, because, again, I don't watch a lot of animated movies, and that trailer is going to play before animated movies for the most part. I probably, if I saw a Universal movie in theaters, it probably did play at least once, because I did see the trailer at least once in theaters. I don't remember seeing it on social media or anything like that, but I got some chuckles out of it, and then the last couple times in the theaters, the Regal Theater, it always does that like roller coaster thing before the movie starts, and then or the trailer start or whatever. And it's been the Minions. It's been two of the Minions lately, and it's always been fun, and I always get a little chuckle out of that as well. So I'm like, cool, I'll have a good time with this. Why not? I'll go see it in theaters and all that stuff. So, watching all the films going into this one, I got back associated with what these films are and the humor of the movies and all that stuff, and the fun villainous uh, it's a kid movie, but if you're an adult watching it, you can get some fun and laughs out of it as well from Steve Carell. And of course, this movie has Will Ferrell playing the villain and Sofia Vergara playing the femme fatale in the movie. So you know what you're getting into if you've seen the other Despicable Me movies. So this one, they have a switch up. They can't be they're on the run. They have to go on the run, as the synopsis says, so they can't be known as the superhero. What is it, the anti-villain league now? Because they start off as villains, right? Gru started off as a villain, of course, but as time's gone on and he's met Lucy and all that stuff, he's joined the anti-villain league, and they have to go on the run because of this bad guy in this movie, Maxime, Maxime. It's Maxime. It's Maxime. Um, and which was hilarious too, because I saw Maxine, and then I went into this movie not even realizing that was the character's name. I'm like, oh, that's a funny coincidence. But they're on the run because this is the bad character and all that stuff. It doesn't mention in there's where Joey King provides the voice for one of the characters in the movie as well. Joey King's fantastic. I think she's one of those future of freaking acting. She's been around for so long. She's been this now of acting, but going forward, she's gonna be the future and all that stuff. So very strong voice cast. The premise of the movie is fun because we're used to seeing Gru and especially now Lucy and the action and all that stuff and taking down all these things and seeing part of the movie to where they can't do that, right? Lucy has to be a hairstylist. Gru is a solar panel salesman and all that stuff, and he's taking care of the daddy duties, so he's taking care of the baby. Gru Jr., who isn't the happiest with the dad. He loves the mom and everybody else, but just with the dad, for some reason, he's not overly enthused anytime he's around. So, it led to some fun chuckles and some good times and all that stuff. Pretty solid movie overall. I liked it. It's a solid story. Bit of a change up from the things we've seen in the other films. Again, watching those leading ups, kind of the bam, bam, ba, bam, ba kind of thing with it, where it's like, okay, I see their style. I see what they're doing here. So to see it flip around and change a little bit in this movie was fun, a good time, and I enjoyed it. But I will say, I said it to my buddy leaving the theater. As much as I did enjoy the movie and had a good time with it, didn't need to see it in theaters. It's one of those things like I could have waited for it to hit Peacock, and that's me. If you're new, you probably don't know this, but I love going to theater. I love being there. Um, just supporting theaters and seeing movies the way that they should be seen is a lot of fun. But, again, as somebody who doesn't watch a ton of animation, unless it's like DC animated films, I don't, I left the theater like, I probably would have been fine at seeing that in theaters. But it was still a fun experience to do a double feature in theaters. Something I haven't done, with two new movies back to back. I did do a double feature recently with, something, and then I saw Abigail again when it was in theaters. So what was it? It was I think it was The Strangers. Saw The Strangers, and I went and watched Abigail. Um, but overall, it's a solid movie. If you love the Minions and you've enjoyed the other Despicable Me movies, you're absolutely gonna enjoy this movie. It's fun. It's a good, fun change up with Gru and all that stuff, and Gru being in a different front, being the care he's taking care of the girls for the most part in the other films, but now seeing him in full on, he's taking the kids to school and he's got to babysit, not even babysit, it's his kid, he's got to take care of his kid and all that stuff. It's fun, it's interesting, it's a good time. So overall, it is an enjoyable movie. It is definitely worth your time to see it. If you're a big fan of the series, you're obviously going to go see it in theaters and all that stuff. If you're if you got a family, you're looking for a movie for your kiddos to watch, good movie for you to check out there as well. Pretty solid film, and it's doing very well at the box office, so it will definitely more than likely have a Despicable Me 5 or more Minions movies at some point in time. That's very interesting that it's been 7 years between movies. I did not know that at all. So there you go, man. Those are my quick thoughts on Despicable Me 4. If you saw it over the weekend, let me know what you thought in the comments, man. Again, if you're looking for my Maxine review, it is on our Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive show called Nightmare on Review It Street. So I talked about that whole trilogy, gave my thoughts on each film, including Maxine, the new movie over there. And then be on the lookout. I have something planned for the Beverly Hills Cop movie. I just don't know what yet. But there's ideas going on there. But there you go, man. So going from there, let's jump into news. Like I mentioned, DC had a lot of stuff going on since our last episode here. Kicking it off with something being canceled, unfortunately. Looks like the Arkham Asylum TV series is not happening. This was the series that was going to be set in the world of Matt Reeves' The Batman. The series is no longer moving forward over there at Max. So it's interesting that that happened. It's unfortunate, of course. Max has canceled a couple of DC things that they had planned at one point in time, going back to Batgirl, of course, and then the Cape Crusader show was removed from Max, but it's going to be on Amazon Prime, if I remember correctly. So that's I don't know what they're doing over there, but that's unfortunate. We were kind of excited for that movie or that show, and more stuff in that Batman universe and all that. But unfortunately, it is no longer happening. We'll see if it gets shopped around or not. But seems to be dead in the water over there. But if you're looking for the Batman stuff, we do have the Penguin. They released that newer trailer a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. That show will be hitting in September of this year. And then the Batman 2, we're going to have to wait even longer for. It was originally supposed to come out next year in October, but that has been pushed back to October of 2026, so full year later. So we got to wait 2 years for that movie. Which sucks, man, because I really enjoyed The Batman. Might be my favorite Batman movie. I got to look into that a little bit more, but yeah, I loved what they did with that, and I was excited to get back into the that world and all that stuff. But we had the Penguin for now. It won't have Batman in it or anything like that, but it does take place right after the events of the Batman movie, so that should hold us over. We have Creature Commando, that's DCU, later this year, hitting in December, and then of course we have Superman, the big live action film coming from the DCU next year, and Peacemaker is filming right now. So, quick side note on that: John Cena announced his retirement tour. I think it's the first time a wrestler's done this. I don't know, but he did show up at the Money in the Bank event this weekend and announced his retirement. He said was able to take a break from Peacemaker to show up there and announce that. So. I wasn't always the biggest John Cena fan. A lot of people weren't. But as the years have gone by, I've respected that man more and more and more. And, it's going to be, like I posted and shared all the stuff this weekend. Let's enjoy this last ride with him. Thank you, Peacemaker. Thank you, Cena. And enjoy that retirement, man. So that's going to be 2025 is the end of the road for John Cena in the WWE as an active competitor. He did say he'll be behind the scenes and all that stuff, but he's no longer going to be an active competitor. So thank you, Cena, for that. And can't wait to see Peacemaker season 2, because Peacemaker season 1 so flipping good, man. Can't wait to see how it ties into the DCU and how it is that's the question about things over there with the DCU is like, okay, Blue Beetle's the first official character, but that movie's not existing in the DCU. All right, Peacemaker is having a season 2, but season 1 is not connected to the DCU because season 1 is the DCEU. It's we just have to wait for it to be shown to us. But that's what's going on over there. And more important and better news of things that have happened here in the DCU style. Really cool move happening here. It's been announced that Christopher Reeve's youngest son, Will Reeve, who is a journalist and the ABC News correspondent, will be making a cameo in the Superman movie that is releasing next year. He'll be playing a TV reporter, so appropriate, in the upcoming Superman film that hits theaters next year, July 11th, 2025. That is so flippin' awesome, man. Christopher Reeve is so synonymous with the Superman character and, of course, the Superman movies back in the day. And, to see that cool move right there, I already had the utmost respect and utmost anticipation and already knew that James Gunn was going to do some good freaking things over here with DC in this movie, and then this comes out and you're like, yes, man, perfect. You're doing the right thing. You're giving it the right respect, and this is awesome news, man. So I'm glad that that cameo is happening because that's fantastic, man. All right, last thing here to talk about DC wise before we close this out is that we can't get away from it. So the Snyderverse, right? Zack Snyder Justice League movie is fantastic. You're not going to hear me say anything bad about that movie whatsoever. Absolutely love it. Woke up at 3 a.m., watched it on the day it premiered, and went to work right after. So that's how much I cared to see that movie and all that. Zack Snyder went on Vero. Don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. It's some social media platform. VERO. And he posted an image of Ben Affleck's Batman with the caption, "Want to see ZSJL on the big screen? Stay tuned for a date." So, he is teasing, not just teasing, he's pretty much confirming that his Justice League movie will be playing in theaters somewhere. I don't know if this is like a fan charity event where it'll be only playing on a theater where he's doing a Q&A, or if this is going to be a worldwide release. I don't know. What I will say is when I first heard this news, I was a little annoyed at it. Because again, don't get me wrong, love the movie. But I'm just so ready to move on that when I first heard this news, I'm like, I don't need this, man. I'm ready for the DCU to happen. I don't need this taking, you know, freaking ideas and eyes away from the DCU, especially when the DCU is starting to get up and going. Like, we don't need this. We already know how the Snyder bots are. We already know how annoying all of them are on the internet about anything to do with the DCU. And the fact that Zack Snyder is still not releasing movies. It's very annoying in that way. Now, on the other side of things, again, love that freaking movie. And if I get the chance to see that on the big screen, yes, I'm going. Obviously. I'm just ready for this Snyderverse thing to end because it's been done. Right? It's done. It's over with. It's not going to happen unless some kind of miracle happens. Or like, hey, go ahead and make your stories over there on Netflix or something. Or Max. Or whatever. Make us money, right? But I don't need it. We don't need it. I want the DCU to get the rightful attention that it deserves. We're starting new. We're starting fresh over here. It'd be nice to stay in that world, right? But I think all of us are going to see it. If it does go to the big screen, 4 hours, if I remember correctly, is how long that movie is. Um, so yeah, I would be in there without a doubt. See that fantastic movie again. But I don't know, man. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Are you going to go to theaters to see it? Are you going to, are you excited to see it on the big screen if it, or when it happens? Because it pretty much confirms, he says stay tuned for a date. So that confirms it's going to happen. So if it is a worldwide release instead of just a in Hollywood release or wherever with a Q&A or whatnot, are you going to go see it in theaters? Are you excited to see it in theaters and all that? Or is this bringing too much attention to something that doesn't need any more attention and is taking too many eyes away from the DCU and moving forward? Let me know what you're thinking. All right. Actually, last bit of news here, unless I find something else to talk about. But last bit of news here, we got a bit of an update on Stranger Things Season 5. Maya Hawke, who is a star of the series since Season 3. What's her character's name? Robin. She played Robin. Fun character. She's been fun since we met her. She gave us a bit of an update on Stranger Things when she was doing an interview, and she said she talked about how great the writers are and the writing team and the directors and all that stuff are, and then she goes on to say, quote, "We're making basically 8 movies. The episodes are very long," end quote. Which I think we've all kind of were expecting that, especially after what was it, the last 2 episodes of the last season, season 4, whenever that happened, because that was a while ago, it seems. those last two episodes were very long, especially the last episode was over 2 hours, if I remember correctly. So I feel like going into season five and it being the final season, all that, I think we kind of all expected that the episodes would be longer. Um, to say that all 8 episodes are going to be like movies, that's big, man. That's big time. They're spending the money on the show. They're doing the thing. There's a lot that's gonna happen here. Now, I enjoy the show. I've had a great time with the show since I've seen it. Of course, Halloween Horror Nights is added into the love for the show as well. I started watching it because the house was announced for Halloween Horror Nights. I didn't see the show. I didn't have Netflix at the time, and then it was announced for Halloween Horror Nights. My brother's like, "Hey, come watch it over here," because he had Netflix, and immediately fell in love with the show, and just have enjoyed it ever since. And then experiencing the shows, the seasons as houses, has been fun. I know that the season 2, season 3 house gets some hate, but I still had a decent time walking through there and having a good time, had fun with that. And then season 4 was really good, so um, I'm excited for season 5. I'm excited to see what they end up bringing us. I need some, as crazy as it's going to see, be good to have some big character deaths in this season, and some big freaking things happening on this season. Some big, I can't think of the word right now, but some, you know we got to get some things happening. The show again, very solid. Season 3 and 4 have been just absolutely fantastic. Season 1 was really great. Season 2, bit of a letdown, I think. Kind of strayed away from our what we were expecting. We had the stepsister idea and all that, but enjoyable enough season. But 3 and 4 shined. So going into season 5, they're on a big hill, man, and we got to see how they're going to close this thing out, man, because it has been a huge deal, and you're telling us this is it. Let's go out with a bang, man, literally. So there you go. Season 5 of Stranger Things is basically going to be 8 movies. So let's have fun there, man. That's actually going to do it for this episode of the Review It Rob show, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you saw Despicable Me 4 over the weekend, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Again, Maxine Review is with the Nightmare on a Review It Street show on the Patreon for Thrill Me. That's a Patreon exclusive show. And then some DC news. Sadly, Arkham Asylum TV series did not happen. Awesome move with Will Reeves, Christopher Reeves' son, being added to Superman for a cameo. And Zack Snyder's Justice League is hitting theaters somewhere, sometime, eventually. Will you see it? Will you not see it? Let's see. And then Stranger Things, going to be big. So that'll do it for this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it, man. Again, if you're new, welcome into the show. Hope you stay along. I am a movie geek, and I just love talking about movie stuff. I have other stuff in there. Obviously, talked some WWE with you with John Cena here. I will talk Halloween Horror Nights from time to time. I will talk just about anything that's on my mind on this show, video games, anything like that, man. So if you enjoyed this episode, more stuff and more fun to come. Again, there are 2 movies releasing this week for me to check out: Long Legs and the Scarlett Johansson space movie. I believe are the 2 movies that are releasing this week, if I remember correctly, which I believe those are. And then we're getting closer to Deadpool, man. Deadpool and Wolverine's getting closer and closer. We got a couple more weeks till that happens, but that's going to be a big one. So fun times to be had, but appreciate you listening to the show as always. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. Hope everything works out for you. Hope your brightest and biggest dreams come true. Continue to move on, continue to live, and continue to be chasing those dreams. And remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.